This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Prime Minister's in the house, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome back, PM.
Great to be here.
Are you in the walls here? We can't get rid of you. You are back in going away all the time.
What have you done with Sean?
Oh, he's on long service leave in Bali.
Upgrade.
Yeah. And we get Caitlin way cheaper by metre.
It's true.
Have you ever met Caitlin Bassett before?
I haven't, but I'm very pleased to meet a former constituent from Lilyfield.
Yeah, I do love Lilyfield. It's a great spot.
Tell me why.
Another one as well, Dave McClung from Lilyfield too.
I was at Golden Grove Public School last week.
That's where they have the markets every Saturday.
Where they had the markets and they went crazy, the young kids. It's always fantastic going into a primary school.
I got told that it's the poor man's Balmain. Is that right?
No.
That's what Caitlin said.
No. It's got its own character.
So does everything if you squint.
It's got the best markets.
By character, do you mean crime?
Leichhardt Oval is actually in Lilyfield, which is a great sporting venue.
Yes.
Wouldn't know.
It's fantastic. But I'm here to do Metronet. Big opening.
I know.
Yeah,
so
so-
Armadale line.
Yeah, no. And, removing 6 level crossings
Yes.
is going to make an enormous difference. I know there's been some disruption, which is what happens when you do
People are
major
completely
infrastructure.
understanding of that, though.
Oh, because... well...
Nobody
I've
complains
not
at
read
all.
one bad comment.
It will mean that people can get around more efficiently, both on rail and, of course, on road.
Yes.
Because when you separate
level
them,
crossings are the worst.
they are. They are.
We've got a lot of
And
roadworks
it's
happening
safer
around
too.
Perth at the moment, and what's going to happen afterwards is just it's amazing because Perth was built so spread out. That's the thing. Like, you know, we followed the 1984 corridor plan, as I learnt in geography, which basically split Perth out and spread it all out, and there was never a forethought to public transport and stuff and what we do in the future.
North, south.
Yeah, it seems a little bit easier in other countries or sort of cities. Yeah.
Yeah, but Perth is just becoming so easy to get around with the Metronet. I mean, the roads, you know, with the Gateway project made an enormous difference, clogging up around the airport.
Yeah,
the
that's
Swan
true.
Valley bypass, but the Metronet project is really
and when that
exciting.
Albo line opens as well,
Do you
that's
reckon
going to make
we'll ever get a toll? Will we ever
Don't
get a toll?
say that.
I don't want them, and I think it's disgusting. There's something so strange about me driving on a road and then having to chuck change into a bucket.
No, we don't do that.
that thing goes beep on
As
your
someone
window.
who's from Sydney,
What? That's insane.
it is such a bonus being from Perth.
Yeah.
Like,
to
the
get
difference that
places.
it makes
Yeah.
is enormous.
Yeah.
Like,
But I was just
people
in
really
Melbourne on the
rack up
weekend, and the
tolls.
toll to get to the airport on the Tullamarine Free, it's $6.
That's cheap.
$6.
There's
So
$13 tolls in
to
Sydney.
drive to the
Yeah.
airport.
How many? I don't know the word. How many tolls? I mean, you're not at the paying end. You're on the back seat of the limo.
Sydney
But
is the highest tolled city in the world.
could you do like $50 a day if you had to go from lengths or like?
You bet you could.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
So
bet
like a
you could.
professional driver, like somebody who drives for a living, a delivery driver or whatever, could easily rack that up.
Absolutely.
You know what? Do you want to win WA over again for the election?
Say
Let's
no tolls
No,
out.
spread out a thing of Peter Dutton wants tolls and nukes. Tolls and nukes. And we, mate.
Nuclear tolls.
Nuclear tolls.
The worst kind.
Radioactive toll booths.
Well, we may as well, at least that'll have a costing on it. Unlike his policy, he gave a speech yesterday and said nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Won't go anywhere near Collie. I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mate, Collie. Poor Collie. I know what, they're going to be fantastic when
Collie's
they wave
going
at us with their 5
gangbusters.
arms in a few years. It'll be
No,
great.
well then,
Hey,
the
let's
nuclear fantasy isn't happening, which is why Peter Dutton won't actually come out with the costing. Because it doesn't add up.
Oh, you got to make the plants, don't you? You can't just move into an old Aldi.
Yes, well, and the CSIRO came out at the very beginning and said it was a very expensive option.
It's the
that
most
wouldn't be worth
expensive.
it. Yeah.
It's the slowest. It's risky.
Yeah. And I know that it works in other countries, but the infrastructure is they're smaller, and it was built some time ago. So whereas
Correct,
trying to build it now is an
And
expensive
when I
option.
watch the block, I see how much water sealing costs.
it's a
it
great
need
point.
worse than water sealing. It need more than water sealing. Yeah.
You need more water than a coal-fired power station, and coal-fired power stations are shutting down there at Collie, of course, and they're building there a battery that will be able to store enough power for 860,000 homes on that site.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's amazing, isn't it?
Free power. Power's ridiculous. We shouldn't have to pay for that, and internet. internet should be free. Don't you think? Elon Musk says that. He says some other crazy things.
I wouldn't quote him too boldly.
I got in a fight with him. I don't want to another one.
I know.
Although it's quite happy to, given his outrageous behaviour.
Oh, dude.
Thinks he's above everything.
Mate.
Like some of these supermarkets. I'm amazed at... Now, you've been on about this for a while.
The ACCC, right? So we know that they're
taking on the
they're
Woolworths
taking them
Coles.
on, and what they seem to have done is absolutely disgusting. So we've got the ACCC chair, Gina Cass Gottlieb. Is it Gottlieb? This is her talking about an example of what the supermarkets have been doing.
A sale by Woolworths of Oreo family biscuits, initially at a price of $3.50 for close to 2 years. Then an increase in price to $5 for a 22-day period compared to the nearly 2 years. And then the price returning to a $4.50 price when it was put onto the Prices Dropped campaign.
The strategic planning of this to put something up at an astronomical price,
then dropping
drop it down and still making a profit because you haven't dropped it down
as much, but calling it a saving.
No wonder people are angry, and they're right to be.
So
You've been on about this.
I'm
Nathan.
so
You've
angry.
been ahead of the game.
Well, look, this is the thing. My parents are now pensioners, so I don't think about myself. I make enough money. I'm okay, but I think about people that don't, and I think about what someone that has worked their whole life has to do to live these days. They can't put the air conditioner on, they can't afford it. You should at least be able to go to the shops and be able to afford, not thinking about eating you probably can't even afford the cheapest tin of cat food at the moment.
And not to have
it's so
a lend
gross.
off. This is having a lend of people. They go along,
God,
they see a sign saying it's on special, they expect it to be cheaper, not more expensive. And what you have with those examples is essentially the prices going up by $1.
Crazy.
Then they reduce it by 50 cents, so it's still 50 cents more than it was, and say it's cheaper.
And I'm going to say I'm that sucker. When I'm at the shops and I'm in a rush, my partner says to me, get whatever's on special. So I just run through and I look wherever the tags are. And then I get to the checkout and I'm like, holy moly, like, is this the special prices? This is nuts. I just think of people that have families. Like, imagine if you've got 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids. How are you feeding them?
But it's also, they're elevating inflation.
Yeah,
Two companies are driving inflation in this country. And that's, you're bearing the brunt of that.
Yeah,
because
when
people are going,
we're doing everything we can to reduce inflation. We have halved it. I make that point. But it's not easy when you have companies abusing their market power. And that is what has happened here.
Everyone in Australia is calling out for punishment. We do. We need to see it.
How do you hold them
here's the thing. I've heard on the news last night that it was a $10 million fine. If that's true,
a drop in the
that is
ocean.
nothing. You need to do something
per
to
incident.
them.
Per incident. We're talking, in one case, over 240 cases, and in another, over 260
cases. Go them for all of them. Fine them for all of it.
And in addition to that, yesterday we released the exposure draft of new legislation to tighten regulations even further, and we introduced the exposure draft as well of our mandatory code of conduct. Now, under the former government, what we inherited was a voluntary code.
Which means nothing.
Seriously. And so we had Dr. Craig Emerson do a review, said the code should be mandated, and we put out the draft of that just yesterday.
Can you also do something about when the register tells you that you've put something in your bag and you haven't? Or the other way around?
Or that you haven't put it in the bag and I'm like, it's there.
Yeah, and then the thing starts collecting, you have to wait for the person to come over. Then they look at you like you're an idiot.
Some sort of mandatory code of conduct.
What happens to the money that's going to get fined? So they're going to get fined $10 million each. Then where does that money go? Because I assume there's going to be a lot of it.
It goes to the taxpayers.
So you're going to get a refund in your...
The taxpayer will help. Well, we've produced 2 budget surpluses, so this will help with the bottom line.
Yeah. But because ultimately, though, it's the consumer that has paid this money.
Absolutely.
So they're the ones that's come out of their pocket, but it won't be returned to their pocket.
No, but I would like to see that. Can you have your people come and knock on everyone's door and hand them an envelope of wallet?
Show us your receipt,
imagine
and
that.
we'll sort you out.
Albo's coming today.
Oh, just give me a...
I think there's a law against handing out cash
you'll be
during an election
You're not handing it out. You're returning it.
Exactly. Put your hand up. Who's ever shopped at a Woolies on Coles? Excellent. Here you go. Here's $50. Here's $50. Perfect.
Well, we have given tax cuts for every taxpayer.
I
do make that point.
And we
on
got
July
energy rebates as well, which we're happy about that. But, $700.
Still.
Hey, any further along with the wedding planning?
I've said that last time. You'll know.
No.
But you'll be there DJing.
I know I'll be DJing.
So we're thinking that it will be probably after the election, because if we do it beforehand, it'll be a bit of a political event.
But have you thought about your bombonaries? What are your bombonaries going to be?
You sugar
we haven't got to that level of detail. Maybe
about
some
elections,
freckles.
Can we ask the question?
Or black cats.
Are we going to get an early election Prime Minister? There's a bit of chatter around double dissolution and this sort of thing. What's going on?
There always is. Look, I'm just concerned with governing, and the election will be sometime when I drive to Yarralumla.
So do you just get in the car and go for a spin and pretend you're going there and just swerve away?
Just drive past. I said that to one of the TV journalists. I said, well, it's very easy. Just camp outside.
Yes, you'll know.
When you see the car go in,
that's it.
You'll know.
And then you just drive up and speed off.
You'll get the exclusive.
It's when every suburb in Australia smells like a sausage sizzle. That's exactly when it is.
Well,
I think 3 years is too short, is my view. Should be 4.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
There was going to be an election August 30, I kept reading, and now that's come and gone, and then it was going to be in September.
So when's the latest it can be? It's March. Is it March? May. Yeah,
May.
Right.
So sometime between now and May.
Christmas Day,
Christmas Day, why not?
Election must be such an exhausting time.
Why not? People are happy Christmas Day.
Also, no, people want something else to do. So they're like, because they get a bit bored, once you've opened your presents and eaten all the food.
You're stuck there with your family wearing a new shirt.
So what about if we go off and vote?
Got to take it for a spin.
There's nothing to be
Off
said
you
for
go.
that. Prime Minister, it's always a pleasure.
I will give the Christmas Day suggestion due consideration.
Don't do New Year's Day. Everyone's too hungover.
Yeah, no. You're not going to get any voters.
Not New Year's Day. I always host the Australian, and this year it'll be the Australian and Indian cricket teams.
Oh yeah, of course. Cool. Yeah.
Which is.
That'll be fun.
So I think for many of them, it's the last thing that they want to do. They do.
They all turn up.
Hungover cricketers turn up.
Yeah.
Throwing up in the toilet under the stairs.
So that's ahead of the Sydney test, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a bit of a tradition which is there. So.
Brilliant work.
Albo, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you'll be back.
See you in a couple of weeks.
I was going to say in 15 minutes, but whatever.
I'm surprised that when Sean wasn't here, that you didn't give me a call.
Point.
Mate,
I can understand why.
Do you know who won the Brownlow last night?
Oh, I do. Patrick Cripps.
Yeah, well done. Who came second?
There you go. I don't know who came second. I was in Philadelphia 48 hours ago.
It was with Joe Biden.
Literally.
Was it fun?
That was good. It was terrific.
Do you like Joe?
I like him very much.
Does he hate Kamala?
No.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
He does so. A younger woman pushed him out, pushed an older man in politics over his head.
No, that's not true. No. George Clooney pushed him out.
He's out there campaigning for Kamala.
Who's going to win the grand final?
Swans.
Are you a Hawks supporter or not?
I'm a Hawks supporter.
He says has all the answers.
Can't change teams.
What are the Powerball numbers?
I tell you what, there was this controversy over whether I was really a Hawks supporter, and it's like, what sort of idiot halfway through this year when the Swans look unbeatable and you live in Sydney and you go, no, I'm a Hawthorn supporter. Sure, they lost the first 5 games, but I mean, seriously. So you can't change
Hawks
teams.
Through and through.
But,
this weekend,
when the Hawks aren't playing, go Swans.
Sydney, all right.
Go
Metronet.
Sydney side and go Metronet.
Go ACCC.
Thanks so much, Albo.
Go for blood.
See you guys.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.